আপনারা দেখছেন 21 টেলিভিশন।
Hello dear viewers, I'm Masood Khan. Welcome you to watch Central Security the Diplomats program. With this program we talk about different issues, trade, diplomacy, tourism and different other issues, especially the development issues. So today we have invited country representative of the UN Women, Ms. Kristen. Hello Ms. Kristen, how are you?
I'm well. Pleasure to be here.
Very good. Very welcome to our ETV studio.
Thank you.
So first of all, let me ask you that when did you come here in Bangladesh?
I arrived in January 2013, so almost 3 years ago.
Excellent. So before Bangladesh, which other countries you have served? If you could tell a little about your background.
Well, this is my first posting inside the UN, but I've lived and worked before in Sri Lanka and in Indonesia, and while living in Amsterdam, worked in many countries around Asia and Africa.
Excellent. So could you tell me the major activity of the UN Women globally?
UN Women globally exists to advance gender equality and the empowerment of women. And as we are an intergovernmental body, a UN body, we do that work in partnership with national governments, and we also work at the intergovernmental level.
Intergovernment. Excellent. So in Bangladesh, you have seen different parts of Bangladesh, I mean out of Dhaka and out of this. So what is your opinion about the women empowerment of Bangladesh? What is your opinion about Bangladesh especially?
Yeah, Bangladesh has really made remarkable progress in the 44 years since independence, and especially in the last couple of decades. So the amount of poverty that's been reduced is really amazing for a country that's not rich. In terms of gender equality, the reduction in number of women who die as a result of childbirth is really commendable. The reduction of the family size, which also then frees up, it supports women's health, it supports the economy, and it frees up women's time to contribute to their community in other ways. And certainly also the progress in education. So when the MDGs called for countries to have gender parity in elementary school, primary school, Bangladesh also achieved that in secondary school. And I heard just last week at the Bangladesh Development Forum that the government's committing to now also achieve parity in tertiary education. So there'll be as many women educated in post-secondary education as men. So those are all terrific progress. There are challenges that remain.
So, Ms. Chris, with this point, let me ask you, do you have any special message for the women of Bangladesh for their particular empowerment? How can they change themselves in particular?
Well, actually, our messages are really for the women and men of Bangladesh and also for the decision makers. Because when you look at gender and gender equality, you have to look at women and men. And when you think about what will bring change for the lives of women and girls, you have to look at what are the policies, how well are they implemented, what happens at local government decisions, and what happens in the household from the women and from the men. So the women, we work with a lot of women in different parts of Bangladesh, and we hear from a lot of women. And we hear both the challenges they face, so we hear about daily discrimination that makes it more difficult for them to carry out their roles as mothers or as workers or as community members. We also hear about amazing resilience, the same way I think from women and men in Bangladesh. We see so much resilience, so much creativity about solving problems in their day-to-day lives and managing challenges like climate change or poverty or needing to change livelihoods. So we hear that also from women, and we hear very much what governments and development organizations can do to make it easier for women to exercise their resilience and take up the leadership that they're ready to take.
Thank you, Kristen, so much. So with this, we have one small video. Can you take a look on, climate change, migration on the video?
On the edge of the Sundarbans, in the southwest of Bangladesh, lies the Shamnagar Upazila of Satkhira district. Shamnagar is one of many coastal regions disastrously affected by Cyclone Sida in 2007 and Aila in 2009. With a population of nearly 160 million, Bangladeshi people continue to face the severe impacts of climate change and natural disasters.
আইলা হয়ে গেল, আইলার পরে দেখা যাচ্ছে ঘর বাড়ি ছিল না, ঘর বাড়ি যায় এনজিওরা সাহায্য করিল, একটা ঘর দিল, দেওয়ার পরে আবার নদী ভাঙন আসলো, এসে ভিটে টিটে সব নদীতে চলে গেল.
This region was heavily flooded during Aila, and due to extensive waterlogging, the salt levels in the soil have risen dramatically. Farming land has lost its fertility, and every year more and more silt lines the river beds. Water stagnation is a major threat and hampers crop cultivation, which is an important source of income for locals. Poverty levels are very high, and with the changing climate and resulting loss of income-earning opportunities, migration is often seen as the only means to earn a living. Women and men are affected differently by migration. Most often, male family members migrate and the women stay behind.
So that's in climate change migration issue. A wonderful video. Thank you, Kristen. With this, we'd like to take a short break. Dear viewers, with this, we'd like to take a short break. Coming back soon. Viewers, again, welcome to us, the Center Security the Diplomats program. We are talking to UN representative Ms. Kristen. Well, Ms. Kristen, we talk little things about there is a issue called standalone goal issues. So if you could tell something about the standalone, I mean SDG perhaps, if I'm not wrong.
Certainly.
Yeah, if you could tell something a little about it. Yeah.
I would be pleased to. In September of this year, governments around the world agreed on the Sustainable Development Goals. So up to this year, we've had the Millennium Development Goals, and those were decided more or less by a small group negotiating them. We knew they would end in 2015, so when the world was looking at what should come next, they decided to be much more participatory. So countries, but also citizens, have been very involved in setting out the next agenda. So where as a world do we want to be in 2030? And that's the Sustainable Development Goals. The government of Bangladesh was also very active in putting forward ideas, including that the government of Bangladesh proposed a standalone goal on gender equality. And what was proposed in Bangladesh is very similar, in fact, to what we have now as a decision from the whole world. So it's a goal to achieve gender equality and the empowerment of women. And under it, there are a number of targets. So there are targets such as to end child marriage.
Kristen, another question is violence against women. This is a very, very major issue in Bangladesh.
It is.
So if you could tell something about it.
Yes, we know because the government bravely went out and did a countrywide survey on violence, so we actually know. We know that 87% of women who've ever been married have experienced some form of violence from their spouse. 66% of that was physical violence, so tangible. Other kinds might be psychological harassment. And we know actually that almost 1/3 of women experience physical violence in the last 12 months. So that's maybe 12 million women. So clearly, we can't only wait till violence happens and then respond. We need to find ways to prevent it. It's a huge cost to the country, to families, to communities. So starting on the 25th of November is a global campaign, happens every year, called 16 Days of Action to End Violence Against Women. And this year, it focuses on preventing violence before it starts. So I think it's very relevant for Bangladesh, very relevant for the first year of the SDGs.
Right.
That's important. The color for the campaign is orange.
Orange. Okay.
So young people, when they were talking about what does it mean to end violence against women, young women and men, they said the color should be orange because it's a strong color and it's a color of hope.
Okay.
So
Good.
the challenge here in Bangladesh then is this year, between November 25th and December 10th, we want people to, one, make a pledge. Think about something that you can do to help prevent violence against women or girls. You can do it in your personal life, you can do it in your work life, you can do it by making streets safer, you can do it by challenging harassment when it happens in the school. Media can do a lot by changing how women are seen.
Absolutely.
And the images of, positive images of men, not as just aggressive or violent, but the images of men in terms of the kind of care they give to their communities as well as their households, and the kind of thoughtful ways of creating equitable relationships at every level of the country. So hopefully also we'll have good continuing partnerships with our friends in media to bring that message.
Yeah, Chris, you said about awareness building, media. So do you have any kind of program, especially awareness building, how to connect media, this kind of program? Do you have any particular program about it?
We have some really good resource kits that have ideas and clips and messages that have really come from women and men around the world about different things that people can do. So we do have that, and we also have a wonderful network of other development partners, but also of civil society activists who really are dedicated to making a difference. And we would be very happy to make any links with our partners to help them get across their message as well in very particular ways to particular audiences on particular steps people can take.
Well, Ms. Kristen, another question is, we talk about the global issues, about the women empowerment other issues, and UN women, globally your work. So if you could tell in short, in brief, again.
Yes. So one of the important types of work that UN Women does globally is to support the Commission on the Status of Women. So every March, leaders from different countries around the world come together and they discuss current issues of gender equality, and they make agreements on how they can go forward more strongly.
Great. So with this note, Ms. Kristen, can you take a look at your short video on the screen?
In Kigali, she wakes up, she looks at joy. In Hanoi, Natal, Ramallah, in Tangier, she takes a breath, lifts up her voice. In Lahore, La Paz, Kampala, though she's half a world away, something in me wants to say, we are one woman, you cry and I hear you. We are one woman, you hurt and I hurt too. We are one woman, your hopes are mine, and we She leaves without shame.
We have seen wonderful clips, Ms. Kristen. So with this, we'd like to take a short break. Dear viewers, with this, we'd like to take a short break. We're coming back soon. Please stay with us. Dear viewers, again welcome to us, Center Security, the Diplomats program. We are talking to Ms. Kristen, representative of UN Women in Bangladesh. Well, Ms. Kristen, now let us talk about yourself. I mean, what you like. I mean, especially the food. You have come in Bangladesh and you have tasted many foods.
I have.
So if you could tell something about your view for our viewers, basically.
Well, of course, Bangladesh is famous for its hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had many opportunities to have some wonderful food. It's also, I have to say, a bit famous for its sweets, for mishti.
Oh, mishti.
So even just in my office, I think I've gotten to try almost every Bangladeshi sweet. Yeah, I really enjoy the food here. I enjoy the fish. It's really great. And a lot of the curries and, yes, also the sweets.
Excellent. So being representative of UN Women, one basic question I'd like to ask you, that if you would like to change the lives of women, don't you think how the men can participate with this role? Because
yes,
this is also again important, I believe.
I agree. It's really important. We can't change the lives of women without working with women and men.
Sure.
The women and men, whether it's in the household or at national level, I mean, we're linked. We're in the same families.
Sure.
We do things together. So absolutely. We look forward to, for example, working more with boys, because partly we need to learn different things as we grow up.
Yeah.
So boys and girls need to learn different things. We've had some wonderful engagement on the other side of the picture with real leaders in Bangladesh who became he for she champions. So men who would stand up for women's rights. And so we have leaders in media, in the arts, in business, in sports, who made commitments to stand up for women's rights. And
Sure.
we would very much encourage anyone who's interested, any men who are interested in following up on that. We'd love to see more Bangladeshi men coming to us, showing up on Facebook, signing up on the site, saying, yes, this is also our commitment.
With this note, I'd like to ask you another question. I mean, you have seen Bangladesh very closely. So other than the men and women, other issue like, do you have any special message for the people of Bangladesh, especially the young generation of Bangladesh? Because you know, in Bangladesh about 60% people are young.
Yeah.
So do you have any special message or note for the people, I mean for the young people of Bangladesh?
Well, I think Bangladesh is a wonderful country for me to be able to live and work in, because you can see how much the country as a young country has done.
Sure.
And then, as you said, there's this really large group now of young women and men, and they will shape the country. So I think engaging now, so engaging whether it's individually through social media, but also engaging collectively and understanding what kind of country they want to have and how it can include everybody. Because, well, women experience discrimination, so do some other groups. There are some groups who may experience discrimination because they have a disability or because they're from a minority group.
Mm-hmm.
So for young people, I think the challenge is what kind of country do they want to have, and then getting involved and having a voice in that, taking the action they can, learning, not being afraid to learn also, because some things don't work. And from that you learn what would work better.
You're coming across the young generation of this country, right? How do you find them, basically?
Oh, I found the people I've had the privilege to meet, I found lots of energy and enthusiasm, great ideas, lots of creativity.
Very true.
Yeah, I think it's really terrific potential.
So we are looking that Bangladesh will go ahead and ahead, you know, the days to come, I'm sure.
Undoubtedly. If we can keep the focus that the government has historically kept on inclusive development,
Sure.
on equity, and if we can actually learn from, the country's made huge progress, but the next step requires different. So we could get so far with girls' education the way we worked, but now we want to get further. We have to remove harassment. We have to end child marriage to get the next step. So I think the way the country's gone forward, then looking for the next innovative solution, committing action as well as policy, and really engaging young people, then of course,
Sure.
I think Bangladesh in 2030 will be yet another country, as
Thank you
it
so
is
much.
now compared to 1971.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Kristen, with your great note. I'm sure the Bangladesh, especially the young people and all people of Bangladesh, will definitely learn from this note, and I'm sure Bangladesh will find its way, find its goal. Yes, you are very true that our young generation, especially, they're very vibrant, very innovative,
Yeah.
and very resilient, you can
Yeah.
call it. And I'm sure that if you can guide them properly, Bangladesh will be a new Bangladesh for sure by 2030.
Yeah.
Very true. Thank you very much, Ms. Kristen,
Thank you.
for coming to your studio.